Most people skip legs because they think it is boring or too hard. What that really means is they do not have the strength or the work capacity to train the part of the body that actually carries everything. No legs, no base, no balance, no complete physique, and even the people who train legs usually do not build serious leg muscle. They load weight, shave depth the moment it gets real, bounce reps, and walk out feeling destroyed. Then the glutes look the same. The quads barely change, and the calves never move. The session was hard, but hard does not automatically mean growth. The problem is where the effort goes. If the rep avoids the stretch, avoids control, and relies on momentum, the joints take the bill and the muscle gets a weak stimulus. Stay with me, because this is not about adding more exercises or training longer. It is about choosing 5 movements that put tension where it belongs and progressing them in a way the body cannot ignore. Hip thrust, glute bridge. Most people think they train glutes because they squat. They do not. A lot of squats turn into quads and lower back, especially when depth gets cut and the hips stop doing the work. If you want glutes that actually grow, you need a movement that forces hip extension hard, rep after rep, without letting the knees or spine steal the tension. That is why the hip thrust and the glute bridge work so well. The load lines up with the job of the glutes. You get peak tension at the top, and you can control the whole rep without grinding your joints. Here is how to do it right. Set your upper back on a bench for a hip thrust, or stay on the floor for a glute bridge if you do not have one. Feet about shoulder width, toes slightly out, ribs down, chin tucked, and keep your lower back out of it. Drive through your heels and squeeze to full lockout. Then pause for a full second. On the way down, lower slowly and do not relax at the bottom. Progression is simple. Start with body weight until the reps are clean. Then add load with a dumbbell, a barbell, or a backpack across the hips. Work in the 8 to 15 rep range and add reps first. When you can hit the top end with control, add a little weight and repeat. Hamstrings, Romanian deadlift. Hamstrings are the muscle group that gets ignored until someone pulls something sprinting or their knees start feeling unstable. Most leg days are knee dominant, and that means quads get all the work while the back of the leg stays weak. Then the hips feel tight, the lower back starts compensating, and the whole chain looks softer than it should. The RDL fixes that because it forces a true hip hinge and loads the hamstrings in the stretched position, which is where they grow. Not by yanking weight off the floor, but by controlling tension through the length of the muscle. Here is the standard. Hold dumbbells, a bar, or even a loaded backpack if you are at home. Soft bend in the knees, then push your hips straight back like you are trying to touch a wall behind you. Keep the shins almost vertical. The weight stays close to your legs the entire time. You go down until the hamstrings are fully stretched and your torso is close to parallel. Then you come up by driving the hips forward, not by extending the lower back. The rep should feel like hamstrings, not spine. If you feel it in your lower back, you are either going too low or losing position. Slow the lowering phase down to 3 or 4 seconds and own the stretch. That one change makes this exercise a growth machine. Progression is boring, and that is why it works. Stay in the 6 to 12 rep range. Add reps first while the hinge stays clean. When you hit the top end, add a small amount of load and repeat. If you want to make it harder without heavier weight, pause for 1 second at the bottom stretch and keep tension the whole time. Quads. Bulgarian split squat. If you want quads that actually look thick, most people go straight to back squats and pile on weight until the knees and lower back start complaining. The squat is fine, but the way it gets done in real gyms is usually a mess. Shallow reps, bouncing, shifting to the stronger side, and turning every set into a survival grind. You feel tired, but the quads do not get the clean stimulus they need. The Bulgarian split squat forces the issue. One leg at a time, huge range of motion, and the quad has nowhere to hide. You also get serious glute work, but the quad stimulus is the headline because the knee travels through a long controlled range under load. Research comparing unilateral leg work to bilateral squatting shows similar or higher muscle activation with less spinal loading, which is exactly why this movement builds legs without the same wear and tear over time. Here is how to do it right. Stand about 2 feet in front of a bench or box. Put your back foot on the bench with the laces down. Keep your torso slightly forward but controlled. Then lower slowly until your front thigh is at least parallel. And if your mobility allows, go deeper. The front knee should track over the toes, not collapse inward. Drive up through the midfoot, keep your hips square, and do not bounce out of the bottom. Pause for a half second at the bottom so the quad owns the stretch. Start with body weight and you will realize quickly why this works. Then add dumbbells at your sides, a weighted vest or a backpack. Stay in the 8 to 12 rep range per leg. When you can hit 12 clean reps with control and depth, add load and repeat. If you want to turn this into pure quad growth, elevate the front heel slightly on a small plate or wedge and keep the reps slow. Calves, standing calf raise. Most people swear calves are all genetics because they have been doing calf raises for years and nothing changes. But most calf raises are garbage reps. Half range, bouncing at the bottom, cutting the stretch, and turning the set into ankle movement instead of calf tension. Then they wonder why the calves never respond. Calves grow like everything else. They need tension through a full range, especially the stretched position, and they need enough total work over time. The calf is built to handle a lot of volume, but only if the reps are real. The standing calf raise is still the best base movement, but the setup matters. Use a step so your heel can drop below your toes. That stretch at the bottom is not optional. Step up, then lower your heel slowly until you feel a deep stretch in the calf. Pause there for a full second. Then rise all the way up onto the ball of your foot and squeeze hard at the top for a full second. No bouncing, no momentum, every rep should look identical. If you want to bias the big visible calf head, keep the knee fairly straight. If you want more of the deeper soleus, do the same movement with a slight bend in the knee. Better yet, do both across the week. Studies on hypertrophy keep showing the same thing. Training muscles in the lengthened position produces more growth than short partials. Calves are the perfect example because most people never train that bottom stretch with control. Progression is simple. Start body weight, then add load with dumbbells, a backpack, or a machine if you have one. Work in the 10 to 20 rep range, and keep the pauses. When you hit the top end with clean reps, add load and repeat. Shins. Tibialis raises. This is the muscle almost nobody trains, and it is one of the reasons so many people deal with shin splints, cranky ankles, and feet that feel weak the moment they start walking more or doing any kind of running. Strong calves without strong shins is a lopsided lower leg. It looks incomplete and it performs incomplete. The tibialis anterior is the muscle on the front of the shin that pulls the foot upward. It controls the landing when you walk and run, and it helps stabilize the ankle so your calves and knees can actually do their job. Tibialis raises are simple. Stand with your back against a wall, feet a little forward, heels planted. Now lift your toes up toward your shins as high as you can, then lower slowly. No rocking, no swinging. You want the front of the shin burning, not your hips doing the work. If you have a tib bar, use it, but the wall version works perfectly. The research on injury prevention and lower leg conditioning is consistent here. Strengthening the muscles that control dorsiflexion improves ankle stability and reduces overuse issues for people who walk, run, or jump. You are building muscle, but you are also building durability. Work these in the 15 to 30 rep range, slow reps, full range. When body weight gets easy, add load by holding a dumbbell between your feet or using a tib bar. If you run these 5 movements the right way, your legs stop being the weak link. You build muscle where most people stay soft, and you build strength that actually carries over to everything else you do. Pick 2 or 3 of these per session. Train legs 2 to 3 times per week and progress one variable at a time. More reps with the same control, then a small increase in load. Now I'm curious, which one of these is the missing piece for you right now? Glutes, hamstrings, quads, calves, or shins? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more training like this, simple, joint smart, and built around what actually grows muscle, subscribe and I'll keep the series going.